Welcome to Take Charge with Dr. Chichi, where nurses take control, break barriers, and build a future of financial freedom and career success. Whether you're burned out, ready to level up, or looking for the blueprint to thrive, you're in the right place. It's time to lead, grow, and win because your future starts now. Here's your host, Dr. Chichi.
Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Take Charge with Dr. Chichi, the show where nurses and healthcare professionals reclaim their peace, power, and financial future. Whether you're feeling stuck, overwhelmed, or ready to take bold steps forward, this space is for you. Let's grow and lead and thrive together. Like, share, subscribe to Take Charge with Dr. Chichi so you will be notified when future episodes are released. Today's theme is From Bedside to Breakthrough, Navigating Burnout and Informatics Leadership with Candace Igbinedion. Candace Igbinedion, she's a nurse by profession, a senior business analyst in health informatics operation, an entrepreneur and wife. The goal for this episode will be for Candace to share her story and highlight the transition from bedside nursing to senior business analyst in health informatics, and also explore the emotional and financial impact of burnout, and then showcase how faith, family, and vision guided Candace's path, empower nurses to take charge of their careers and seek balance. I have the honor to welcome Candace to the show. Candace, can you say hello to everyone? All right. Are you speaking? I can hardly hear you. Your audio is very low.
Okay, let's
Okay,
see.
good. That's better now.
Okay, good. So
That's
you can
good.
hear me?
Yeah, we can hear
Okay,
you.
good.
Welcome to the show. It's so great to have you here.
Thank you. I'm glad
Share
to
your
be here.
story. And I know it will touch a lot of people's life. Welcome, Candace.
Thank you.
All right. We're gonna just go deep into it. All
Okay,
right.
sounds good.
That's good. So, Miss Candace, can you share your personal journey from bedside nursing to your current role as a senior business analyst in health informatics operation, an entrepreneur, wife, and mother?
Yes, so my journey as a nurse actually started at 27. So I was a little bit older when I became a nurse. I didn't become a nurse right out of college. I started off pursuing a different career. And so I decided to pivot and go to nursing school. So at 27, I graduated from nursing school, and I knew that I had a desire to work in the neonatal intensive care unit.
Wow.
But unfortunately, the first hospital I was able to land a job, they did not have a NICU unit. And so the units that were offered to me for my residency were either ICU or med-surg. And so naturally, I felt, well, if I wanted to eventually end up in the NICU, I'm going to accept the ICU residency. And so that's what I did. So as a new nurse, my first year, I was right dead in the middle of the intensive care unit. And I did not know what I was getting myself into. And so I will say my first year as a nurse was very interesting. I learned a lot, and I had my first traumatic, I would say maybe my only traumatic experience as a nurse, my first year in nursing school. When I'm sorry, not nursing school, my first year as a nurse in the ICU, when I experienced one of my patients dying.
Oh my goodness.
And it was very fortunate he died in a kind of very violent way. And it was a very traumatic experience for me. I didn't know how traumatic of an experience it was for me until I think later on in my nursing career, when I had the opportunity to kind of look back over my life. And so anyway, I can talk more about that if you would like me to, but
yeah,
I
go,
did a
go
year.
ahead. Because what you're saying now is probably going to touch someone's life. That's what the show is all about. How it
Yeah,
all
I
begins.
think maybe we'll end up back here at some point in the interview, but I think that's actually when burnout for me started very early on in my nursing career, and I didn't know. Okay.
Because
That
it's very
set me,
subtle.
yes, it's very subtle, and that painted a picture of nursing for me. It kind of painted a negative light
Wow.
over nursing for me, and I didn't know at the time.
Well, what
But
was
as
your
I
first
kept
degree in?
my first degree is I have a biology degree. And
Wow.
so my first dream was to become a doctor.
Oh.
Um and as we talk more, I think this will come out, but I think maybe it wasn't my dream, it was someone else's dream. And
Okay. Okay.
I was doing going through all the motions and doing things that I thought was expected of me to do,
Mhm.
and maybe not what I was passionate about doing. Which is another reason why I think I went into maybe burnout so early in my
Mhm.
career, but we'll get to that. Anyway, so I did graduate with a biology degree, and I ultimately decided that's not what I wanted to do. And so I always knew if I didn't become a doctor, to me, the natural place to go was to become a nurse. And so I went to nursing school and became a nurse, very thankful for my nursing career.
That's good.
And so I did a year in ICU, and I decided I wanted to move back to Atlanta. So I moved back to Atlanta, and I worked in a psychiatric hospital
Ooh.
for a while, for a little while. And I think experienced my second little experience of burnout there. And then I decided, well, I want to gain more med-surg experience. So I got a job at a hospital working in their neuro med-surg unit. At the same time, I was still working at the psychiatric hospital. So I was doing both at the same time. And that's when I kind of hit a brick wall, not knowing where I wanted to go forward from there, because I wasn't feeling very fulfilled.
Mm.
And so at that time, I wasn't married. I didn't have any children. And I decided I was going to move back home. And I did. I moved back home for 3 months. At that time, I did home health nursing. So
Mm.
while I was back home, I did home health nursing, and I did a little bit of soul searching to see, okay, what does Candace want to do? I enjoy being a nurse, but I feel like I have not found my niche yet as a nurse. And so it was at that point where I decided I was going to go back to school to get my master's degree. And I chose nurse practitioner as the direction I wanted to go. At the same time, there was a hospital that put out an advertisement for nurses who had med-surg experience. They wanted them to come work in their mother baby unit.
Mm.
Because now, mothers are having babies at a later stage in life. They're having babies and they might have chronic conditions,
Mm.
or they might develop some kind of chronic condition as a result of being pregnant later on in their life. And so they were seeking nurses with med-surg experience to come to a residency to then work in their mother baby unit. So I took that opportunity. I moved back to Atlanta again, and I started working at in a mother baby unit at this hospital, which is where I met you, Chichi.
Yeah.
And and that was a very pivotal time in my life, and it set me on the trajectory of where I am today. And so I worked in that mother baby unit for 3 years. And I remember I was sitting down one night, working a nursing shift. And if you don't mind me saying, Chichi, I was talking to you.
Yep, yep.
And I was expressing to you how, I was in
Overwhelming.
school. I was overwhelmed. The program I was in was very challenging. And it wasn't that I was doing bad in the program. I was making A's and B's. I was doing well in my classes, but I was overwhelmed and feeling like very unfulfilled. And I felt like I wasn't doing what I was supposed to be doing, but I hadn't yet found out what that thing was I was supposed to be doing. And you recommended to me, why don't I try out
Informatics.
informatics?
So you still remember that?
I remember that. And
Oh my
so
goodness.
I ended up changing my program from nurse practitioner to informatics. And it was from there I became a super user on the unit that I
Yes,
worked on.
yes.
And I started realizing that I had a niche in technology, in assisting the end user in their charting using the system, in data, using data to help effect positive outcomes for the patient. I started realizing all of this. And so it was from there that after 6 years of bedside nursing, I transitioned out. I did clinical documentation improvement nursing for a little while. While I was doing that, I finished my master's degree in informatics. And that's when I found my first job as a clinical data analyst
Mm.
for another healthcare system. I did that job for 5 years. And I say it was by the grace of God because all of the positions that I was looking for were most of them required previous experience, which I did not have. Um, or it required me to do things that I did not want to do. And that's another piece that I want to get to because during this whole time, I started realizing that I needed to be more intentional about the things that I knew I wanted to do and the things I knew I did not want to do.
That's right.
So, not to accept jobs in places where are doing things I knew I didn't want to do because it wasn't going to last long or I was going to get burned out again. So I had to be very intentional about that. I ended up landing a job, and the lady who hired me, she let me know that there were other people who were more qualified for the job than I was. But the reason why she hired me was because she liked the experience that I came with as a nurse. And she said, because I had no experience in things like Excel, which you
Mm.
need that basic level experience to be an analyst. She told me, I can teach you the things you need to know to do
Wow,
this
wow,
job.
wow,
I like what you are coming with. And
wow.
so it was by the grace of God because I have no regrets about anything that I went through because it prepared me
For the
um,
future.
for the future.
Wow, wow.
Yes. And so I did that job for 5 years. And after that, I was then prepared to move on to the next phase, which was in the same healthcare system for the informatics department. They opened up a new position for business analysts. They created the position, and I interviewed for that position. Went through 3 interviews. I landed that job,
Wow.
and since then they have promoted me to senior business analyst. So that's what I'm doing now in their health informatics operations department. Yeah.
Wow. Wow. That's an amazing story. Candace, I was at the beginning of when I started this show, one of the first episode, I was talking about um how I've been helping and talking to a lot of my colleagues, helping them while they're going through burnout. And
Mhm.
something in my head and they'll tell me, Chichi, you told me this. You were the one that encouraged me and helped me while I
Mhm.
was going through burnout. And I said, you know what? If I can help people that I've worked with or people around me in this way, why don't I, with my 35 years of nursing experience, 35
Mhm.
years plus nursing experience, I can do it and help a lot of other people. And
Yes.
when people come to the show, they can share their stories and people's lives will be touched. So
Right.
I didn't even know you remember that.
Yes.
So, but it's amazing. But you've had an amazing nursing career from
Yes.
from the day you started up till now. And that's, and the funny thing is when you're going through all those horrible experiences,
Yeah.
don't know what God is preparing you for
Preparing you
in the
for.
future,
That's right.
You
Yep.
have an amazing story, and you
Thank
can
you.
see God paved your way to where you are right now.
He did.
And when you were talking about that, what came to my head is everything works together for your own good. For
Yes.
you love God. That's amazing.
Yes.
So you've experienced um episodes of burnout during your career. You shared some of them. So can you
Mm-hmm.
share what moments were like, right? And then how you managed to overcome them? And did financial commitment influence your decision to remain in that role during the difficult period?
Mm-hmm. So like I shared, my first experience was me seeing my first patient pass
Mhm.
away in the ICU. It was a little traumatic for me. And it was at that point I wasn't sure about the path I was on. I was questioning, is this the right thing for me to do? And I was in the locker room one day getting ready to start my shift, and I was kind of uh, confiding into one of the veteran nurses on the unit. And this was a pivotal moment in my life. And it's advice that I've held on to, and I tell other nurses. He told me, he said, give it 5 years. He said, you're a new nurse, it's challenging, but he said, give it 5 years before you make any kind of major like
Decision.
changes. Don't give up. Just give it 5 years. And I always kept that thought in the back of my mind. Give this 5 years. Don't give up. And I did that. And so as I kept going, I worked in the psychiatric hospital. A psychiatric hospital can be a very I don't even know the word to describe it. You can get burned out there very quickly. I worked in a psychiatric hospital, and I worked in the geriatric unit. So I worked with a lot of patients who not only did they have psychiatric issues, they were also dealing with dementia at the same time. So it was a very challenging environment to be in. So that was my second phase of burnout. The third one was when I was in nurse practitioner school. But I believe all the seasons of burnout I was in were building on each other. And so by the time I got to my last phase, I call it, of burnout, I was in nurse practitioner school, and I just felt like, okay, I've hit a wall. This is it. I have to make a change. I can't keep going down this same trajectory. But at the same time, during all of that, I was preparing myself to pivot, because I took that nurse's advice. I had given it 5 years, but during those years, I was planning. I wasn't just sitting down wallowing in my, whatever, uncertainty. I was planning for the pivot. So I went back to school. And even though I ended up changing my major, all of that was still planning to pivot. And so those were the different phases of burnout. And I believe the second part of the question was
financial commitment. So did financial commitment influence your decision to remain in that role during
right.
the difficult period? Because
For me,
sometimes people are going through burnout. I mean, it will be too much for them, but they cannot just
they can't, yeah.
they're stuck because they have financial commitments that they have
Right.
to meet, and they're still stuck in that particular position that is
Right.
in them out. Yeah.
I will say not really, because at that time I was still very young. I wasn't married. I didn't have any children. So I didn't have many financial commitments. I just, I was taking care of myself. I still had parents. Well, I still do have parents who were always very supportive in everything that I did. And so I always kind of had that safety net that if something didn't work out, I could go back home. So for me, staying wasn't about financial commitments. For me, staying was the fact that I knew I was in a really great profession.
And you were waiting for your 5 years.
Yes. right. I knew I was in a really good profession. I knew that I wasn't going to give up. I always feel like if other people can do this, I can
I
do
can
it
do it
too.
too. Yeah.
I can do it too. I just knew that I had to find my niche in the nursing field. And I had worked too hard to get where I was. So
Mm-hmm.
for me, it was just, I knew I was in a good profession and I wasn't going to give up. That's what kept me going at the end of the day.
That's good. So you've already shared the early signs and key moments when you knew you were experiencing burnout. So the next question I want to find out is what boundaries or lifestyle changes helped you reclaim your peace?
Thing I touched on a little bit was
Waiting for your
finding
5 years, right?
waiting for my 5 years, but also finding out what Candace wanted.
That's right.
What does Candace want to do? Not what my parents want me to do, or and not to say that I wasn't grateful for my parents guiding me. That's not what I'm saying at all. Because when I was coming out of high school, I didn't know what I wanted to do. So they helped guide me, and I'm very grateful for that. But you get to a certain point in life, in a certain age, where you sit down and say, okay, what is it that I want to
I
do
want.
now that I've gotten to this point? Yeah. So I had to come to that point where I had to figure out what I wanted to do, what I didn't want to do, and be very intentional and clear about that. Also, surround myself with people who had my best interest in mind, who had similar interests, or who were able to mentor me and help me get to the next phase of my life. And ultimately, always remain faithful to God. So that's the number one thing that I've always held on is my spirituality and my relationship with Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
So I think all of those things help me to create boundaries for myself and regain my peace.
Yeah, that's good. Mentorship. I heard you say something about mentorship, and I believe
Mhm.
mentorship is amazing. Surrounding yourself with positive people
That's right.
help you and help you go from one step to the next step.
That's right.
Yeah,
Yep.
that's amazing. And the relationship with God, I mean, if it wasn't God, maybe something would have gone wrong, but
That's right.
God kept me grounded too.
Yeah.
So I'm glad you're sharing your story. So what do you wish someone had told you before you hit your burnout? And what advice will you give to a nurse currently struggling in silence? Because sometimes they tell you you don't know when it starts. But like you said,
Yeah.
it keeps on
I
piling
didn't.
on each other.
Yes.
And then we said it's really subtle. Some nurse might be watching today and they don't even know they're going through it. So what
Right.
advice would you give that nurse right now?
That new nurse right
Even
now.
it doesn't have to be new nurse. It could be
Okay.
someone that have been in the nursing career for a long time and they're going,
Mm-hmm.
or because they want money, or because of the responsibilities they have, their family looking at them,
Mm-hmm.
or a means of livelihood, and they're
Yeah.
stuck in the same job
Yeah.
or in the same situation.
So the advice that I wish someone had told me, it's not advice that I wish someone had told me, it's advice that someone did tell me. It was that guy that told me to give give it 5 years. Because if he hadn't told me that, I was just out there wandering around not knowing what to do. And it was like he gave me a compass and put it in my hands,
Oh,
to let me. I just felt like he gave me something to hold on to say, okay, I'm going the right way. I just need to give it some more time. So that really helped me. So that's advice for the new nurse. But for any nurse, I would say if you're in an environment or you're in a place where you're feeling burned out, to make a plan.
make a
Make a
plan.
plan
Make a
to
plan.
pivot. Because I didn't get here overnight. This took some time.
Yeah.
This took some time. So I had to be at peace with where I was because I knew that I was making a plan to pivot at some point. And so that's it. Make a plan. Make a plan to pivot.
One
Yep.
of the guests that I have said, go back to school, go do something different and find your niche.
Yeah, that's part of making the plan. So
That's
whatever that plan is, for me, it was going back to school and figuring out those things I had um interest in. And I was kind of building the plane as I was flying it, but even that is all a part of making a plan. I wasn't just sitting there not doing anything
yes,
and complaining.
and
That
complaining.
doesn't do any good.
That's right. It's
Yeah,
deciding to make a change and then
that's
finding
right.
the way to make the change.
Yep.
All right. So what does taking charge mean to you in both healthcare and life leadership?
Both healthcare and life leadership. For me, taking charge means, and I've said it before, being very intentional about the things that you will do and the things that you won't do. The things that you know you have interest in, and the things that you know you don't. Because if I would have kept on the pathway that I was going, I would have continued to just accept jobs that just because it was an opportunity, and not so much because
That's
I
what.
was interested in doing it. I can give you an example. So when I started out in informatics, I knew that I did not have an interest in teaching.
Teach it, okay?
I knew that from the beginning. And so when I started looking for informatics jobs, I was very intentional about reading the description. What is it that what is it that I'm going to be expected to do? Because I don't want to get into this job and hate it, because I already know I don't like doing this aspect of the job. And so I waited. I already had a job, so I wasn't pressed for a job. I was patient and I waited until I found the job that was perfect for me. And that was as a data analyst. I didn't have to train or teach anybody how to do anything. And even now, the job I have now in the informatics department, thankfully, it's a department that is so well developed and it's so big until there's different departments within the informatics department. So there's a whole training department. I don't work in that department and I'm not
You don't like
expected
to
to
teach.
train. I don't like to teach. Not in that way. Not
No,
in that
I
way.
know what you mean. I know
Yeah.
what you mean.
And so for me, it is being very intentional about the things that you will do and what you will not do. And I think that will help guide you down the path of where you should be. Yeah.
That's good. So how did burnout impact your family, work, and sense of purpose?
My sense of purpose. So burnout affected my sense of purpose in a negative way. It's it put me in a place where I felt like I was unsure of what my purpose was, you know. But thankfully, again, God put different people in my life along my path to help me figure out what that was, to help guide me in the direction that I needed to go, so that I eventually found what that purpose was for me. But burnout will put you in a place where, it could cloud your judgment. It can put you in a place where you're just going through the motions. I was at a place where I was just waking up and going to work, doing my job, coming home, sleeping, waking up, going to work, doing my job, coming home, sleeping. That was it. I was going through the motions. It was like I was on this hamster wheel. And if you stay on that hamster wheel, you will get to a place where you're completely burned out. And if you're in a place where you're completely burned out, you might give up too soon, And so that's burnout had me in that place where I didn't know where my sense of purpose was for a very short amount of time. But again, because of God and Him putting people in my life to help direct, I didn't stay in that place for very long.
Yeah. That's good. That's good. All right. So for your family, it said the faith, for your faith, the role did it play on your faith, family. So you talked about sense of purpose.
Mm-hmm.
For your sense of purpose, at least thank God you were able to figure it out and then fix it.
Right.
And then
Yeah.
did it affect your family in any way? I know you weren't married then.
I wasn't married then.
Did he
I don't,
isolate you from, because you said you felt like you were going through the hamster wheel, like go,
yeah.
yeah.
I'm not sure it affected my family. I will say I've always had a very supportive family. So, um, it affected it in a way where they were even more supportive during that time, I think, because they were aware that I was in a season of life where I was kind of trying to still figure things out, you
Mm.
know. So I thankfully have a very strong supportive family to where they were able to step in and kind of help guide me as well. And then as far as my faith, I think, well, I know going through those moments drew me closer to God.
That's good.
So I will say that it didn't affect my faith or my family in a negative way. It made those things stronger.
So for your faith and your family helped you with your recovery, in other words.
Yes, it did.
That's
Yes.
That's good. I mean, it's good to have a very good family, a very
Yes.
good support system, because
Yeah.
in the long run, that's what helps you. And one of the guests I had on the show said that the husband or the mom will say, "Have you eaten? Go eat." She
Yes.
herself didn't even know all that, but she was going through this
Right.
period. But she had the good family support system that helped
Yes.
her with her self-care and made her come out of it better.
Right. Exactly. I can't speak highly enough about the
Mm.
support that I continue to receive even to this day, but especially during that time, the support that I received from my family to
Yeah,
help me get through those moments. I think that's important. You can't go through these moments just by yourself on an island by yourself,
that's
you
right.
know.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
So while you were sharing your story, you also shared what motivated you to transition from bedside nursing to informatics. You know,
Yes.
our talks and me encouraging
Right.
and all that stuff.
Yes.
I'm glad you're doing well where you are. But
Thank you.
yeah, but what I want to also find out is, so how did you balance leadership, entrepreneurship, and motherhood now?
It's hard. And yeah, that's just being honest. So I am married now.
Mhm.
I have a 9-month-old and a 3-year-old at home. I am in a leadership position at work, and I am an entrepreneur. I run my own business. So all of handling all of that is difficult. And I think being overwhelmed or burnout, it could come in different phases in life, you
Mhm.
know.
That's
And
right.
so my experience of it in the past has helped me balance my life better now that I'm older and I have experienced some things. And so, one thing I will say is work life balance is very important. You
Right.
know, leave work at work and leave your personal life as your personal life,
That's
and
right.
try not to mix those things as much as you possibly can.
That's right.
That really helps.
That's
But number one for me personally has always been to keep God at the center of my life, because that has been my compass. I can't say, it might sound a little cliche to some, but I can't express that enough.
that's
Keeping God at the center of my life has helped me get through some really hard and stressful times. And so I do that now.
that's
I
good.
have work-life balance, and my family keeps God at the head. We keep God at the head of our family, at the center of our family. So that is what keeps us balanced. And it does get stressful at times.
I mean, you have little kids, so it's supposed to.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I have little kids, but I also have to find those things of interest outside of work and outside of my family that helps me to balance myself. So I have to have my own hobbies or interests and things that I feel like I can escape to bring myself back to a place where I can be well and whole for first myself and then my family. That's very important for mental health,
That's
you
right.
know. So all of that combined helps me to balance my life now.
Amazing. Amazing.
Yeah.
So let me ask you, what will you say to other nurses considering a career pivot like yours, from bedside to informatics? What advice will you give them?
If you know you have an interest in informatics, whether it be data or artificial intelligence or provider solutions, any aspect of informatics. Because I when I started, I didn't know that there were all these facets of informatics. I'm blessed again to be in an organization that has artificial intelligence as a department in the informatics. So there's all these facets. If you know you have those interests, then I say do it. If you have those interests and you are in a place where you're not happy where you are, or you feel like there's more for you, there's something else I should be doing with my nursing career, then absolutely do it. That's my advice. Do it. Make a plan and pivot.
That's one, the reason why I like nursing. With nursing, you can do a lot. It's not just bedside. There's a lot to do with nursing. You're nursing.
Yes, that's correct. Yep.
We talked about mentorship, right? We talked about mentorship while you were talking. So what role does mentorship play in preparing the next generation of nurses to become informaticists or analysts?
It's very important. I've had a few people approach me, either physically approach me or send me messages online and say, hey, I had a new nurse approach me and say, hey, I finally graduated, because it took her a while to graduate and become a nurse, and she finally did it. So proud of her. She messaged me and said, I'm not happy. I finally did it and I don't like this. And I want to say, there's no shame in that. There's no shame in admitting that. And for so long, I was ashamed to admit, I'm not sure I'm liking this, So she asked me, how do you like informatics? Would you recommend, that I do this? Absolutely, 100% yes. So to answer your question, mentorship is very important, especially for that new nurse who may feel like, I've done all this, I've gotten this far, I finally did it, I graduated and I became a nurse. Everybody is so proud of me, and I don't want to admit it, but I'm not liking this. I don't like it. Mentorship is very important to that nurse, to say, hey, okay, let's figure out how to make your nursing degree work for you, because you don't have to get out of nursing. We can find something that you like to do and you can still remain a nurse. I think that's very important for a mentor who's been through all of that to reach back and tell somebody, hey, I've been through what you've been through. Now let me help you, so that you can find fulfillment in your nursing career.
That's right.
Yeah.
So what message would you like to share with the nurse watching who may feel overwhelmed but are called to more? You just shared a little bit of that. Do you want to talk a little bit more about that?
The nurse right now who may feel overwhelmed and is called to more, I will repeat the things that I've said. Don't give up. Make a plan. You don't have to have everything figured out. You don't. Just make a plan and put it into motion, and you will figure things out as you go. But don't just sit there and be unhappy.
That's right.
Don't give up on. Yes, make a plan. Set your plan in motion, and things will fall into place. Put God first.
That's right.
Put God first.
Seek ye first the kingdom of God.
Yes. And everything will work itself out. You're just in a season right now.
That's right.
You're just in a season. Yeah.
So what's one thing you do for your mental health? These are the kind of rapid fire questions I'd like to ask.
Okay.
What's one thing you do daily for your mental health?
Daily.
Daily.
Um, I start my day off with prayer with my family.
That's
We
good.
don't leave the house without prayer. Um, and sometimes when we're so busy and we're trying to, run out the door so we can get the kids to school or get to work, we might forget and we're getting ready to head out the door. My 3-year-old will say, "We didn't pray." You know what?
That's
You're right. We
good
didn't pray.
training.
Let's come back in because we have to.
Mhm.
We have to pray. That sets our day out. That sets our day. What they say now, making the main thing the main thing. And the main thing for us is knowing what our purpose here, what is our purpose here. And the number one purpose is to serve God. That's our once we know that what our purpose is here on this earth is to serve God, then you have to take time to take a step back and give God his praise and his honor and ask him for protection and forgiveness and whatever else you pray to him for your entire family before you walk out that door. It sets the pace for the rest of your day. It does for me at least
It's so
in my
amazing what
family.
it's so amazing what we teach our little ones.
I know.
Even by example. I mean, it's amazing. Mom, we haven't prayed. Can we pray before?
That's right. That's right. And so that's what I do. That's what I do daily. That helps kind of put my mind in the right place.
Keep it up. Keep it up. That's a good
Yeah.
one. That's a good one. So next question, coffee, tea, or smoothie?
Oh, coffee. Hands
Really?
down.
Really?
Oh, yes. My
Can you
motto
like
is
coffee?
coffee and Jesus. That's how I make it every day.
Coffee
Coffee
and
and
Jesus.
Jesus.
I'm
When
thinking
you
about
have
the combination, coffee and Jesus.
that's how I need a t-shirt that says coffee and Jesus because that's how I make it every day.
Really?
I'm serious.
How do you like your coffee? You like a lot of cream on it or just dark coffee?
Oh, I don't drink black coffee. No, I have to have my creamer.
Creamer,
Have to
okay.
have my creamer. And yeah, it just, as a mom of littles, I'm always tired. And so coffee kind of just gives me that pep I need in the morning to go about my day, but definitely coffee.
Oh, wow. Coffee and Jesus. I like that. So, what's a quote or scripture that gets you through hard days?
Through hard days. So there's a scripture that I've had since I was a young girl. I can't quote the book it comes from right now, but I know the scripture and it says, "For I know the plans I have for you," says the Lord, plans
Jeremiah
to
29,
prosper.
11.
That's it. "For I know the plans I have for you," says the Lord, "plans to prosper you and not to fail you, plans to give you an hope and a future."
Yes, expected.
Yeah.
That's Jeremiah 29, 11.
Yes.
Amazing. So, what advice will you give to your younger self as a new nurse?
A younger self as a new nurse.
Mm.
Find other interests outside of work. I wish I had done that. As now that I'm older, I have found other interests that now has turned into a, a business for me.
Wow.
But if I had other hobbies and interests when I was younger, maybe I wouldn't have burned out so quick. And again, I don't have any regrets because everything has led me down the path that I'm at now. But I think it's very important to have other interests and hobbies outside of work, somewhere that can be kind of a reprieve, somewhere that you can escape to, something that really you like to do,
Mhm.
um, because that helps to kind of balance you. It kind of helps in a holistic kind of way
Mhm.
when you have other hobbies and interests outside of just what you do for a career.
Okay, so finish this sentence. Burnout taught me to.
Burnout taught me to persevere,
Mhm.
plan, and pivot.
That's good. Amazing.
Yeah.
So you said your interest kind of
Mhm.
made you um start a business. Do you want to
Yes.
say what kind of business you do?
Sure. It's so I have a natural skincare
Wow.
business that started off as a hobby.
Hmm.
Um, Several years ago, I just one day, and I can't even remember at what part of my life this became an interest. Maybe it was part of my burnout where I felt like I got to find something else to do.
To
I
do.
can't even remember at this point,
Mhm.
but I had an interest in making my own skincare products,
Wow.
but I didn't know how to do it. And so I searched online to see if there was anyone who taught how to make them, and there was.
Mhm.
And so I went to this class and I learned how to make my own soap.
Wow.
Um, and I became a certified soap maker. And from that being a hobby and making my own soap, I went on and learned how to do other things like making uh, body oils and body butters and facial serums and
Wow.
things like that. And so after I did it for a couple of years, I decided to start my own business and sell the products that I was making. And so yeah, so the name of my business is Summer's Essentials.
Pharmacy.
And I do have a shop online, summersessentials.com, where you can go there and purchase my natural skincare products.
That's good. That's good.
Yeah.
It's good to share that because some people watching might want that skincare product.
Yes.
Yeah. So do you the shop you so can you repeat that again so people that didn't hear it the first time would get that?
Yes, it's shop summersessentials.com. And it is my online store where you can buy, natural soaps, body butters, facial serums, things like that.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
So nurses, healthcare professionals, you
Yes,
can actually do something
you
away
can.
from what your profession is all about.
Yes. And even if it's not a business, it helps in balancing your life to have other interests outside of work. Yeah.
That's good. That is amazing. Thank you so much, Candace. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you for having me.
That's good. So my reflection prompt today will be after listening to Candace's story, just take a moment to reflect. Have you ever ignored signs of burnout for the sake of financial security or fear of change? What one boundary can you set today to protect your peace? What boundary can you set to protect your peace? Are you holding back from a career pivot that could lead to more fulfillment? What part of Candy's story resonates with you most? And how can you begin taking charge of your own career, your health, and mindset today? So just write it down, commit to it, and take charge. So another question I always ask is, if something happens to you today and you're not able to walk, how can you sustain yourself? We can talk about it. Email me at takechargewithdrchichi@gmail.com. takechargewithdrchichi@gmail.com. Thank you so much, Candace, for joining us today and for sharing your inspiring journey. Your resilience, honesty, and leadership will surely empower many nurses and professionals who are navigating burnout and searching for direction. To our viewers today, so if you've been impacted by this episode, please don't keep it to yourself. Like, share, and subscribe. Tag a nurse or healthcare professional who needs to watch this show. Someone who needs hope and clarity. Thank you for tuning in to Take Charge with Dr. Chichi, where we amplify both stories, real struggles, and powerful breakthroughs. Remember, burnout is not your identity. You're not alone. You were created for more peace, more purpose, more power. You have the power to rewrite your story. Don't settle. Take charge because your future starts now. Until next time, keep taking charge because your breakthrough is just beginning. Thank you so much and bye for now.
Take Charge with Dr. Chichi is a brand of Sparkling Star Development Strategies LLC. The information provided is for educational purposes only and does not constitute financial, legal, or medical advice. Financial services are offered independently by Dr. Chichi in accordance with applicable licensing and regulatory standards. Thank you for watching.